Father God, we all come to you. I come to you and say thank you today. Thank you for giving us everything that you have offered us on our past, Father God. Father God, I want to say thank you for giving enough care for us to walk into that room, Father God. Father God, to assemble us here today is just great all in itself. And I want to say, and I hope Pastor James, I hope Pastor Sam and all the leaders know that we care for them just as much as they come out. Father God, I come to you saying thank you once again. Thank you for everything that you offer us. Thank you for everything you do to us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Oh my goodness, someone died. All right, if I could get everybody sitting in these two middle rows. If you're currently in 6th through 12th grade, sit right here. If you graduated and you're in college, or if you haven't done a background check, I need you to be sitting in the back rows, please, as soon as possible. Let's go, let's go. Can you turn me down? I feel like I'm... Huh? No. I said, if you graduated already out of high school, and you haven't gone through a background check, I need you to sit in the back. That's a rule. That's a rule. If you are class of 2017 and you haven't turned in a background check, I need you to sit in the back row. The back row, all the way over there, up against the wall. Yeah, if you turn one in, you're good. All right, what's up, guys? Are y'all happy to be here in the house of the Lord? Nah, man, that was weak. Remember, we talked about this, how this is a blessing. Are you excited and are you happy to be here in the house of the Lord? That was still garbage. Are you happy? Are you blessed? Are you excited to be here in the house of the Lord? Okay, this side was better. Let me check this side. Let's see if this side was awake. This side, are you awake? Are you happy? Are you blessed to be in the house of the Lord? Okay, let me check this side. This side, are you happy? Are you blessed to be here in the house of the Lord? This side wins. Just letting you know right now. This side wins. I'm just letting you know right now. So what's up, guys? I'm Pastor Sam. I'm the middle school pastor here at Abundant Life. So a couple things real quick. First things first. Service this past Monday, middle school kids, if you weren't here, you missed out. It was awesome. It was fun. So please stay in tune. We're going to have another one in September, Monday Night Misfits. So please just remember, I'll post the date next week, all right? And then this Sunday, what do we have this Sunday? Sunday school. What time is Sunday school? 10:30. What time is first service? What time is second service? So check this out. If you love football, if you like watching football, you would come to the first service at 9 a.m., then go to Sunday school, then you out by 11:15, and you got about 45 minutes to get something to eat, and then you go watch the Cowboys play whoever and beat whoever, all right? Or if you like to sleep in, then come to Sunday school at 10:30, then go to service at 11:30, then you have plenty of time to do whatever you want and serve the Lord. Amen. So, we got a couple things coming up, and I have to call somebody out. I'm going to call them out. I'm going to let them know right now. You. September 20th, my team. Oh, no, don't mute this. September 20th. No, don't turn it on. Jacob. Hey, if you're in middle school, can I get some noise? Hey, no, he's a misfit leader. It does count. It does count. Hey, you're with me, see?
Let me explain to y'all what's about to happen. If you're in Misfits, you're about to be demolished.
No, that's not happening.
By us, high school high.
Nope.
Let me explain to you what's going to happen.
What's gonna happen? Who? 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 Who?
He can pick up that 110-pound hammer.
Who?
What's your guy?
Who?
Let me tell you what's on that.
Why does Esteban look like Maui?
September 20th. Pull your phone out, put it in your calendar, invite your biggest and baddest friend because we can destroy.
No. Hold up. Okay. You've talked enough. Hey, Misfits. Let me remind you of a story. All right. Hold up. Hey, I'll let you speak without me interrupting. So you hush, Baldy. So there was this kid, right? He was minding his own business. If there was Twitter, he'd probably be tweeting, but he's not. He's just watching birds and talking about defeating lions and stuff. And you know what happened? Then this dude named Samuel, something like me, kind of like me, walks up to his dad's like, yo, man, you got the king and your sons. We got to find out who he is. So he's minding his business, right? Minding his own thing. Guess what? This dude's going to be the future king of Israel. So check this out. Israel's struggling, right? Israel's struggling. They're all scared. They're all big about this big old ogre named Goliath, or a.k.a. Pastor Jamie in our story, right? And then the Misfits come September 20th, and they defeat the Goliath, which is called hype. First of all, okay, all right. All right. First of all, that's okay. First of all, time out. It's a liability that you got all these children standing up on this chair. So if you want a lawsuit, you better tell them to sit down. Okay, first of all, I ain't gonna tell that to JT or Esteban. But everybody else, I am your daddy. All right? So sit. Hey, Colton, you better stop. Get your pen. Hold up. Let me turn the page on you. All my Misfits standing on the chair. Come on, Misfits. Where you at, middle school? Come on, middle school. Where you at? Where y'all at? Hey, there we are. We're right there. All my check this out. All my Misfit leaders, please stand up. All my Misfit leaders. Look at that. I got Josh. I got Lance. I got Casey. I got Angel. We good. We might be small. We might be small. Hold up. No. Misfits. What? It was dinner time. First of all, there's no pink, so I don't want none of this. September 20th. Okay. Hakeem, that's one. I need six misfits then. Okay, I got one. I got two. I got three. I need some misfits. Misfits, come on, Lucas. Come on. Lucas, come on. All right, come on. Yeah, come on. We got 6 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, come on. No. That's messed up. I would never say anything about that about Willis. No, he's right there. Ooh, he says you're the king of trash. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? That's messed up. I would never say that. Hey, remember when he said he could beat you one-on-one on basketball? Willis, remember when he said that? I would never take your food. Oh.
The only thing that you could talk about is Jesus, and that's only because you're old enough to have met him.
Nobody listens to 50 Cent now. Hey. Nobody listens to 50 Cent. Ooh. Hey, have you ever have you ever wondered how Caillou would look like in 30 years? It's right here. Dora's dad, that's messed up. So we're gonna do racist jokes now? Hey, have you ever seen a troll? Hey, y'all ever seen a troll? Have you ever seen a troll? Have you ever seen a troll grow up? It's right there. Yeah, dope. Misfits, line up right here. Right here. Face this way. Face them. Face them. No. What is? Yes. Look at this. You can't. Hey, look at this. You can't sleep on vanilla Weiss. You can't sleep on vanilla Weiss. Hey, y'all. Yeah. Hey.
How many y'all remember Pastor? How many y'all remember Jake? Who remembers Big Jake? Shh. How many of y'all love Big Jake? Well, I want y'all to know, hype. Shh. We were able to, shh.
we were able to raise enough money. Shh. How many of y'all were here Sunday where he was talking about how much money he needed to raise? He raised everything he needed for his missions trip. Isn't that awesome? Hype. You gave $500 to his missions trip. Way to go. That's what's up. Now listen. Tonight, before I get started, if I can get my leaders, we're going to go ahead and pass the offering baskets. Tonight, we're going to jump straight into this. Shh. We're going to jump straight into this because I don't want to go over. But I want to tell y'all, here at Hype, there's more than one way you can worship God. Everybody look to your neighbor and go, shh. Everybody look to your other neighbor and go, shh. Now, there's two ways you can worship God. Shh. There's two ways you can live a lifestyle of worship. Number one, it kind of coincides with number two. You ready for this? Number one is, everybody knows how to worship, right? You got the Hershey squirt face? Let people know you're really worshiping. You get your Pentecostal two-step. Right? Listen. Oh, it must be hype thing. That was good. But then the second way that we worship, right? The second way we have a lifestyle of worship is by what we do outside of worship. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but we're called to live a lifestyle of worship. And what that means is we honor God with every aspect of our life. And what's the number one way we can worship God? By showing him by our wallet. Somebody once told me, successful people, they know where their money goes. And if they don't know where it goes, they wonder where it went. And if they wonder where it went, they probably live like they're lost. Here's the thing. God doesn't ask us. He commands us. Now, I know all of you don't have jobs, but I do know this. We are called to live a lifestyle of worship. That means if you are here and you are a Christian, you are someone who is sold out for Christ, you are called to live a lifestyle of worship. And part of living a lifestyle of worship is your offering. Give what you can give. If you have a job, you give 10%. It's really easy. Now, let me tell you something. I know a guy who told me this story. I don't think it's real, but I'll share it with you. There was this guy who had a construction company, and he barely was able to meet ends meet every week. And so he prayed. He said, God, I will be faithful with the money you give me, and I will tithe. Well, he tithed off of the little money he earned, and then God began to bless his business, and he began to get more construction jobs, and then he began to tithe more because he was paid more, and then it got to the point to where it was a little bit harder. See, it was easy to tithe on $20,000, just like it was really easy to tithe on $5. Then it got to where he was making $50,000 a year. Then it got to where he was making $100,000 a year. And then it got to the point to where he was making over 6 figures, almost 7 figures. And he sat in his chair as the pastor gave the message about giving to God and given a lifestyle of worship. And he had this hard time writing a check to God. Now, he didn't give a check. And he called the pastor and he said, I'd like to have a meeting with you and just share my heart with you. And the pastor said, okay, let's meet on Monday. So that was Sunday. The next day is Monday. This construction owner comes into the church in his nice jeans and his nice button-up polo shirt, getting out of his $70,000 King Ranch 3/4-ton dually. And then he walks inside with his alligator skin boots on, and he has his briefcase with his construction plans in it. And he sits down. He goes, Pastor, I don't have a lot of time because I have to get to a job. But I wanted to tell you, I can't continue to give 10% because it's so hard to write those big checks. Will you pray for me? And the pastor said, I would be delighted to. And the construction owner said, you know, God has blessed my business. I started with nothing, and now I'm making almost 7 figures. And it's just so hard to give that much money to the church, knowing that I could use it for other things. But I'm going to give 5%. So this pastor said, well, can I pray with you? He says, well, yes, I'd love you to. So they stand in the corner of the office, and the pastor begins to pray. And the pastor says, Lord, I know you've blessed him with great and an abundance of money, Lord, and business, and I pray that you would take away some of those jobs to where it's easier for him to give back to the 10% because you've obviously blessed him too much. And that construction worker didn't like that, but it put things into perspective. Now, it's kind of a funny story if you think about it, but the reality is God has given you your talents. God has given you your abilities. God has given you the mind that you have to think. God has given you your feet to walk. And if you can't live a lifestyle of worship, maybe God will take away the gifts that he's given you. So here's what I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to give your 10%. And if you don't have a job, just give an offering. How many of y'all hear me say, I don't care if you give 1 cent or... But here's the thing. It's the fact that you give, and you give of your own joy, of your own heart. You see, on Sunday, I had this exact same conversation with my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old. My 6-year-old is fascinated with saving money. He reminds me of me. He looks just like me. He is definitely the spitting image and mindset of me because we butt heads on everything. But he'll come to me and say, Dad, I got $58. I just counted it. And I said, well, how much are you going to give to God? None. And I said, Jacob, you have to give money. He goes, why? I said, because we're told to be cheerful givers. But it would be sad to give money away. I took Titus's. That's how I got $58. I said, well, first of all, you can't steal because the Bible says not to steal from your brother. It also says not to wrestle your brother. But listen, I'm kidding. So here's what I told him. I said, you haven't earned this because you haven't worked, but I want you to pull out something to give to God. He pulled out 4 quarters. He says, this is a lot, Dad. I'm going to give this. I said, awesome, son. Put it in your pocket. When the offering comes at church, you put it in, and you tell Pastor Josh that you gave of your own money that you wanted to give to God, and you're happy about it. You know what Titus did? He went and got his whole piggy bank and said, I'm going to give all of this. Now, I'm not saying to give everything you have like Titus, but I am saying to give something. So come prepared every week to give something to God. Can we do that? I'm going to say a quick prayer, and then you guys can give something. If you don't have something to give, quietly ask your neighbor and see if they'll let you give something to God. You ready? Lord, we love you. We praise you. We give you tonight. We give you this message. We give you this offering. I pray that your word will be taught. I pray that we will be able to use this money, Lord, to reach this community, Lord, to bless this community, that Hype would be a name that students would love to be included in, God, and would be able to be reached, Lord. I pray that your hand will be the handiwork here, Lord. We ask this in your name. Everybody says? Amen. All right, pass those offering baskets. So, since we're talking about friends and we're talking about living a lifestyle of worship, we got my Friends logo, Dalton. How many of y'all know we're still in this series called Friends? All right. Now we didn't start with our normal high school musical theme, but you know what? I don't want to play that song again, so I'm not gonna. How many of y'all like High School Musical? Raise your hand. How many of you know every song in High School Musical? How many of you know the dance moves in high school? Or in High School Musical? Okay, here's a question for you. How many of you know the song We're All in This Together? I don't want to sing because I put the mic out? I see how it is. How many of y'all know the song? Sing it for me real quick. We're all right, and I got a question for you. It's not, I know it's not. I know. But listen, shh. What would happen if we all knew the Bible like that? What would happen if we got so excited to tell people about the Bible like that? Reality check. Now, there's nothing wrong with having fun. There's nothing wrong with enjoying High School Musical. There's nothing wrong with being that guy that goes to the games with your shirt off, painted up, and you're trying to get on TV because you're doing this. Right? Okay? There's nothing wrong with being that guy when you're 70, okay? But here's the thing. If our enthusiasm for each other and our enthusiasm for God is lacking in the same sense as that, I would very much tell you there is a problem. That better be Jesus, sir. That better be Jesus. Oh, it's your dad. Hi, Dad. So tonight, we are going to be talking, we got 2 more weeks in this series called Hype Friends. Tonight, the theme is building the team. Building the team. So if you're taking notes, write down building the team. How many want to be a part of a team? Anybody? Now, what is the definition of a family and what is the definition of a team? Anybody know the definition of a team? What is it? No, that is the definition of teams together. The definition of a team is a number of persons associated together in work or activity. Anybody know the definition of a family? A group of individuals living under one roof and usually under one head. Ooh, What would happen if we were to combine this thing called a team and a family? We'd be a group of individuals, right? Focused under one head, which is God, associated together in work, which is this, and activity, which is this. What would happen if we actually lived that way? Do you know what would happen? I'll tell you what will happen. It's a thing called a revolution. Do you notice our revolution podium is not out? Where's it at? It's in the corner, right? Why is it in the corner? Because things that you don't really want to do are in the corner. You see, if that was real, this section would be full, that section would be full, and all the chairs in between you would be full. There were times when that was true. There was a season here at Hype, and this is not about numbers, but it associates everything together here. There was a season about 4 years ago when Hype was running around 175 to 190. Now, I know we just graduated like 55 seniors, and that hurts any youth group. It's not about numbers. It's about a group of individuals associated with what? Under one head in work and activity. Hype family, that's a team, work together. I want the Hype family to be a team that works together for one cause. You know what that one cause is? Christ. I want you to have so much excitement. I want you to be so zealous for God that you bring your Bibles, you wear your gear, and you tell people about God in the same sense with the same enthusiasm as you'll sing High School Musical. We're all in this together. Or when your Cowboys are playing and they score a touchdown and you drop the popcorn because you're so excited and there's popcorn everywhere. Listen, you may not all be Cowboy fans. It's cool. But here's what I want to share with you real quick. Shh. I want everybody to understand something. Hype is in a new season. Hype is shifting. And let me explain to you what happens. This happens in every youth group, happens in every student ministry, happens in every family, happens on every team. Do you know what happens in high school when they win like a state championship? You know what they say the hardest thing to do is? No. The hardest thing to do in any team that wins a state championship or a national championship or a world championship is to repeat. Now, this is a side note. Don't argue. But this is why LeBron will never be Jordan. Jordan won 3, took a year off, and then repeated 3. Lakers can't say that. LeBron can't say that. The hardest thing for any athlete, guaranteed, is winning and then repeating and then repeating. That's the thing. That's what makes dynasties. That's what makes greatness. What would happen, listen, LeBron aside, he is the greatest player in the NBA as of right now. KD is second. Steph Curry is 5th. It's cool. Here's what I know. Listen. Who is? Sure. Listen. Shh. What I care about, listen, what I care about is repeating. You see, there was a season when Hype would go to their schools and would run "See You at the Pole." There was a season when Hype would run FCA. There was a season that you guys would go to school and sit together and rock your shirts together and invite people left and right. There was a season when students would take 3 and 4 trips to get students here because that many people were excited to be here. What would happen if we were to repeat that? You know what would happen? Lives would be changed. How many of you would agree with me? We don't play church here. We don't sugarcoat stuff here. We're real, right? Don't you think people need something real in their life as well? So tonight we're going to talk about friends. And I know that all of you, and I guarantee I'm just going to ask it, if you have a friend that needs Jesus but's not here, raise your hand. Where are they at? Don't answer. Just think about where they're at. If you are here because a friend brought you, I'm so glad you're here. But I want to talk about growing in bonds with friends. Let me explain something to you. When I graduated high school, I haven't seen anybody I graduated with since I graduated in 2001. Yeah. 2001. I got the shut up cough. Now listen. You weren't born in 2001? So old. All right. You can call me Grandpa. Everybody else can't. You quiet. I'll duct tape you to a pole again. That's my nephew. I can do that. Now listen. Shh. Don't forget it. Now listen. I'm bringing duct tape on Sunday. Now listen. It's my dad's birthday. Where I'm going with this is the people I associated with in high school that I still talk to today are the ones I went to church with. I can list everyone in my graduating class that I hang out with. None. I can tell you where Darius is at. I can tell you where Kenneth is at. I can tell you where Rachel's at. I can tell you where Heather is at. I can tell you where Chase is at. I can tell you where Lamont is at. I can tell you where Aaron is at because I talk to them. Here's the thing. I couldn't tell you where Lonnie is at. I couldn't tell you where Steve is at. I couldn't tell you where Kyle is at. I couldn't tell you where Gabe is at because I haven't talked to them since 2001. The last I heard, Rusty, my buddy I played basketball with, we would hang out every day. We were on the same team. We fought for the same position. We gave each other rides to school. Literally, I haven't seen him since 2000 when he switched to a different school. This is someone I spent 3 years every day with. Haven't seen him since 2000. It's a long time ago. Some of y'all, it's old. That's more time than you've been alive. No, I haven't seen him since 2000. I don't know. It was before school started. We went to different schools. He went to Duncanville High. I went to the school I was going to. Now listen, why do I share this with you? Because you ever heard the saying, well, if you'd walk a mile in my shoes, you'd know, right? Well, sometimes the best lessons in life are learned through someone else's hard knocks. I thought that the people I was on the same basketball team with, I take that back. I talked to my buddy Aaron. I ran into him at the supermarket a year and a half ago because we live in the same neighborhood and we don't even see each other. How crazy is that? We were number 1 and number 2 on our team. I got MVP and he got the next person in charge, whatever the next position that he won was. I got senior of the year my senior year. He was a junior and he got MVP his junior year. Like we were fighting for the same position. He almost beat my record in scoring baskets in a game. He missed it by 1 point. Praise the Lord. And I remind him of it every time we see each other. But here's the thing. He's the only person I've seen, and I just happen to remember I ran into him at the grocery store. Friends are someone that's going to help build your life and is a platform for sending you in the right direction. Now, I can tell you something. Just because I talk to my friends doesn't mean I associate with my friends. Because when you graduate, you're going to go like this. Because some are going to be geared towards success. Some are going to be geared towards fun. Some are going to be geared towards, I'm just going to get my degree and I'm going to study hard. And then you have some that are just like, I'm just going to stay at home, bro, and play some Xbox, man. I'm going to make some money like developing games, but I don't have a computer, so that's like my goal. You want to help me with a kickstart? Here's the thing. I don't hang out with all those people, not because I don't want to. Some of them, it's because I don't want to be brought down from where I'm at or make them feel inferior because I'm doing something with my life. I have one friend who has all the gifts and talents in the world but is a total bum. Literally, he's 33 years old and still lives at home. That's not a bad thing. He hasn't had a job in 3 years. That's a bad thing. His parents are loaded and they pay for everything. Here's the thing. He is not going to do anything with his life, and there's going to come a point when his parents are dead and gone, and if they don't leave him anything, his lifestyle is going to change like that. But that's not the point. The point of what I'm getting at is your friends are the foundation of your future. Who you associate with, who you hang out with, is the foundation of your future. Romans chapter 12, verse 6 says, a spiritual gift is given to each as a means of helping the entire church. You see, all of us here have been given a spiritual gift, and that gift is to help each other. That gift may be the gift of service. That gift may be the gift of discernment. Whatever the spiritual gift God has given you, it's designed to help each other grow. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about us growing and maturing together. You see, everyone has something they're responsible for. Every one of us have a gift. Every one of us have a calling. Every one of us are responsible for something that God has given you. But here's the problem. We sometimes push it off. We sometimes say, I'll do that later. We sometimes say, not interested. Like, I knew at an early age I was called to youth ministry. Like, when I was like 7. I wasn't even in youth. But I thought that my brother, Ben, was going to be in youth ministry because he said he wanted to be a youth pastor because a youth pastor impacted his life. So I said, I want to do that because that looks like fun. No, God wasn't like, Jamie, this is God. You're going to be a youth pastor. Over and out. It wasn't like that. That was like on a CB, 10-4, good buddy. It wasn't like that. But you know what it was like? I saw God through the youth pastor by the way he treated my brother and my siblings. True as that. True as can be. And I said, that's what I want to do. It wasn't about money. I didn't know what money was at 6. I just knew I had a bucket of change that I took from my dad's dresser. Don't act like y'all ain't doing that, sinners. Here's the thing. Listen, I knew that I wanted to do that based on the reaction on the reaction that my brother was having based on what he was doing. It made my brother better, and so I said I want to do that. And as I got older, that was a thought that continued in my mind, and then I happened to go to Bible college. And I happened to go to a Christian university. And then I happened to continue to serve at the youth group I was involved in as a high school student. And then I happened to be a youth pastor because the opportunity arose. And then here I am, all these many years later. But here's where I'm going with this. Tonight I'm going to give you a few keys to help you achieve great friends here at Height by using the gifts that God has called you to have. So number 1, if you're taking notes, discover your influence. Discover your influence. You see, if you look at this picture, every one of them have a different personality. Every one of them have different characteristics. Every one of them are different characters that serve a different purpose in the movie, correct? Just like you. Every one of you are called to do something great. If you're taking notes, A, B, and C, you ready for this? A, to discover your influence, you need to pray. Matthew chapter 7, verse 11 says, how much more will your heavenly Father give you good gifts to those who ask him? 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 12 says, since you are so eager to have spiritual gifts, ask God for those that will be the real help to the whole church. 1 John chapter 5, verse 14 and 15 says, and we can be confident that he will listen to us whenever we ask him for anything in line with his will. And if you know he is listening when we make our request, we can be sure that he will give us what we ask for. So you need to discover your influence by A, praying. B, spiritual gift test. If you would like to take a spiritual gift test, come see me. I will print one off for you and I will give you one and you can take it to see what you're more inclined. You know what my spiritual gift test tells me I am? I'm inclined to be a teacher or a preacher. I'm inclined to serve and I have an inclination towards discernment. In other words, I love people, I love to help people, and I can tell you when you're lying by the thing that's inside of me, okay? You can't pull a fast one on me. That's the gift of God, right? And C, try it. Ask yourself these questions. Is this my calling? Once you figure out what you're called to, once you figure out what you're built and tested for that God has made you to do, how many of you guys, when you have a visitor come over, you like to make cookies, or you like to make sure the house is clean, or you like to make sure that there's always something for them to do? Anybody? You probably have a gift of service. How many of you, when you're in a group of people, you decide to say, well, if no one's going to step up, I'm going to step up, and this is what we're going to do? Who's that? You have the gift of leadership. That's probably the gift of teaching. You want to be the one making sure things get done. You see where I'm going with this? The spiritual gift test will help you to decide and help you to understand what God created you for, to discover your influence. Like Tommy. Stand up, Tommy. Everybody go, Tommy. Today, Tommy is in college. Tommy, what are you going to college for? Medical assistant. Today, Tommy gets pulled into the dean of the school's office. And the dean of the school says, Tommy, you're a leader. I wanted you to know that I've noticed it. That is all. How awesome is that? So here's the thing. When you figure out and you understand, you discover your influence, ask yourself this question. Does this gift fit me? Does it motivate me? And does it feel right? Here's the thing. I am not called to children's ministry. Could I be a children's pastor and could I be successful at it? Yes, I've done it at 2 different churches. Did I enjoy it? No, I loathed it. I hated it. It's okay. Shut up, kid. Listen. It's okay, everybody. It's Mickey. I could do impersonations amongst impersonations. Listen. That doesn't mean I want to be around kids. That doesn't mean I want to teach kids because I can't get to their level. If you ask my wife, I'm on the same level, but don't ask her, okay? Here's where I'm going with this. Could I be effective there? Yes. Am I effective? No. Ask yourself, does it fit? Does it motivate me? And does it feel right? Am I called to be a pastor of a church of adults? No. How many of you ever seen me preach up here on a Sunday? Once. I've done it once. I've been asked numerous times, will I preach again on a Sunday? Probably not. Because you don't take the deal that I've made. If you want me to preach on a Sunday and you want me to have a youth Sunday, I need 50 in Sunday school and 70 between 2 services, and I'll preach on a Sunday. I need it 4 Sundays in a row. That's the only way you're going to get me back up here preaching, unless God says, James, this is God. Over. Do you copy? Yeah, I do. You're going to preach on Sunday. Over. Son of a biscuit. I got to preach? Billy, shut the front door, right? Listen, that would be my reaction to God, because I don't want to preach on a Sunday, because I don't want to preach to adults. Because their problems they're set in their ways. You are not set in your ways. You can fix your problems by making choices today. Now listen. Eric Little. How many of you ever heard of Eric Little? How many of you ever heard of Chariots of Fire? Do, 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 do. Nobody? Go look up Chariots of Fire. Watch it. It's a movie you must watch. Eric Little, quick short background story, was a missionary, was called to be a preacher. His parents said, you're going to be a preacher, you're going to be an evangelist. They were missionaries from America to Scotland. All of a sudden, while they're there, Eric Little, not Steve Prefontaine. He's another runner. Eric Little was running, and he told his sister, when I run, I feel God's presence. But when I preach, I don't. That's funny. He was an athlete, and he said, when I run, I feel God's presence. That doesn't mean you're called to God because you don't want to preach. Maybe you're good at running. Maybe you're good at football. Maybe you're good at basketball or crocheting or knitting or what's that game where they push? No, not shuffleboard. Not cricket. It's when they, no, shut your faces. It's on ice and they do this and they. Curling, that's what it is. Curling. Maybe you're good at curling and you were a really good sweeper when you were a kid. I don't know. Listen. Shh. Just because you develop and discover your influence doesn't mean you can't use it in the field that you're called to. If you are called to art and you feel God's presence when you draw, then draw. Discover your influence. But don't think inside of a box. Because when you think inside of a box, you'll only be as big as the box. I heard something yesterday. I love motivational speeches. I love to listen to motivational conferences. I love Zig Ziglar. I love to read these posts where they have awesome quotes. And there was a quote that said, as long as you think it, you'll achieve it. Whoa. As long as you think it, you'll achieve it. In other words, when you put your focus on it, and that's all that you can do, you'll achieve it. If you think you're stupid, you'll always be stupid. If you think you're called for greatness, you will eventually reach greatness because your mentality, the way you think, will change how you act. Try it. If you think you're ugly, look in the mirror and believe that you're beautiful. And you know what? You'll start to walk around like you're beautiful. You'll start to act like you're beautiful. You'll start to literally change the way you look because you're not going to think that you're ugly anymore. It's the truth. If you think you're dumb your whole life, sure enough, you'll be dumb. Do you realize I had a choice in the 3rd grade when I was told I'd never read or write past a 3rd grade education at Scottish Rite by a medical professional who studied to literally tell kids, this is what you're diagnosed with. I'm sorry, this is what it is. You'll never be more than this. I had a choice in the 3rd grade. You can ask anybody that knows me. I am optimistic. I will not settle for status quo. I will not settle for average. It doesn't matter what you tell me. If this is what you're aiming for, this is what you're getting when you deal with me. How many of y'all know that's true, right? I had a choice in the 3rd grade. I can either believe that I'm dumb, or I can say, you know what? I can overcome this and I can do whatever I want. And that's what I've done. I graduated. I was told I'd never graduate. Not only did I graduate high school, but I graduated as valedictorian. Not only did I go to college, but I have 3 degrees. Don't tell me I'm dumb because I've achieved greatness. Here's the thing. You can achieve greatness, and the people you associate will either tear you down or lift you up. The friends are the foundation of your future. Now listen. Number 1 was discover your influence. Number 2 is develop your gifting. What am I saying? Your gifting, what God has given you is a gift. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 6 says, this is why I remind you, fan into the flames the spiritual gift God has given you when I laid my hands on you. This right here is what I'm talking about. Fan into the flames the gift that God has given you. In other words, cultivate it. Now let me explain something to you. I firmly believe this, and I'm going to say it. I told Samuel earlier, I think Samuel is more athletic than Atanza. Now, I'm not saying right now. I'm not saying right now. I'm saying if Samuel would have fanned into the flames his athletic ability, Atanza would have been in the shadow of Samuel for a season. You never know. We'll never know because he did not pursue what Atanza. Listen, they're cut from the same genetic code. Are you kidding me? You're telling me that's not a chance? Because all you can see is now. You can't see the potential. Atanza, do you agree with me? Listen, if he would have, if he would have achieved and gone after what Atanza did, Samuel, why would have been better? To a degree. I'm not saying Atanza would have never caught him, but I'm saying as of right now, in Atanza's prime in high school and Samuel's prime in high school, if they would have gone after the same goal, Atanza would have had a goal to go after, and it would have been his big brother. You laugh, but here's the thing. In high school, I was 5'5". My brother Josh, you know, the bald guy that plays the piano, he's still 5'5". Who's to say that I wasn't going to grow to 6'5"? Because if you look at my family history, that's all as I was going to get. But I'm 6'5" now. With God, anything's possible. But listen, just because you have the gift, just because you have the talent, just because you're called, listen, are you hearing me? Just because you're called doesn't mean you're entitled. Atanza didn't get where he got because he's entitled. He got where he got because he put the work in. You hear where I'm going with this? Develop your gifting. If you know you're called to something, develop that. Go after that. Don't just settle for the status quo. My niece is a senior this year. She's graduating with an associate's degree and a college degree, or a college degree and a high school degree, or a high school diploma. And she, as of before this semester started, she was number 10 in her class. But because she took college classes over the summer, she may be number 5. But she literally spent the last 3 years with a goal in mind of graduating with an associate's degree. She started with about 30 students. There's only 10 left that are in her class that are still achieving towards that goal. Develop your gift. How do you develop your gift? A, pray about it. B, learn about it. Look up books. Read. Those are letters that form sentences that group together are paragraphs. And when there's paragraphs together on a page, it's called, a book on a page with words that you can learn from. If you don't read, you need to read, because leaders are readers. And if you want to be a leader, you better read. Now, here's where I'm going with this. Pray about it. Learn about it. Research it. I've got 3 hot rods I've been building for 8 years. I'm literally 3 weeks away from getting my 1972 Chevrolet pickup actually running, if all goes as planned. I've got a hype van that I've rebuilt the engine. I've dropped the engine and transmission in, and I'm hoping to get this thing running if I can get some time, get it sent off to paint and body, and then have us a really cool 1964 Scooby-Doo van out front advertising hype. Mystery Machine. I've got a 1964 flatbed dually I can't wait to get my hands on to pull the engine out and put a new one in. Do you realize that as long as I've been alive, my dad has told us when your car hits 36,000 miles, when your warranty's up, that's when you put it up for sale. My dad has never rebuilt an engine as long as I've been alive. Yet I'm willing to research how to do it because I have a passion for it. That doesn't mean I do it right. That doesn't mean I know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to figure out the problem. Do you realize there was a time in my life where I was still 6'5", and I was about 310 pounds, solid muscle. I would do 3 sets of 100 on incline, decline, flat with 135 pounds. Then I would do a set of 405, set of 8 of 405 on bench. My dad has never lifted weights a day in his life. Where did I learn? Where did I develop? Where did I discover? Why do I want to do this? You all have your own gifts and talents separate from your parents, separate from your siblings, separate from your great Aunt Bootsy and your grandma. What I'm trying to tell you is you can achieve anything you put your mind to as long as you're willing to do it with excellence. So you need to develop your gift. So A, pray about it, learn about it, talk about it is C. Find your gift. If you know you want to be a pastor, find a pastor to sit under and say, I want to serve you. I want to be your armor bearer. I want to be someone that you're going to mentor. I want to be someone that's going to be able to ask you questions and you give me answers. I want to know why you do what you do and the time frame and why and what's the plan behind it. If you want to be a mechanic, do an internship. I have a kid that graduated through my youth ministry. His name is Jeremiah Swearingham. This kid was told he'd never achieve anything. He's making 6 figures now. And you know what he does? Paintless dent repair. You get hail damage, he goes in and he pops the dents out. Do you know how he started there? He had no job. He was living at home, and he went to a guy who owned a business and said, I want to learn this. I don't want to go to college. Can I be an intern? Can I apprentice you? Can you teach me this? You don't have to pay me until I do work. And the guy said, sure. He said, where can I start? He said, start pulling headliners. For every headliner you pull, I'll give you $20. Perfect. So he went and learned to pull headliners in cars, and after he learned to pull headliners, he said, now take these clips off. I'll give you $30 a clip. After he started taking clips off, he said, now here, pop this dent. Show me you can pop this dent. All of a sudden, he started making more money, and it started with an internship, an apprenticeship. Don't think you know everything, because the minute you think you know it, someone who can give you an opportunity is going to say, I don't want to mess with you. You know why? Because you're a know-it-all. Don't be a know-it-all. Know-it-alls get fired from me. I'm just going to tell you. We just fired one last week. Don't tell me how to do my job. You're fired. Now, that's in the real world. That's not here, okay? You're dead to me. Number 1, discover your influence. Number 2, develop your calling, your gifting. Number 3, last way. You ready for this? Number 3, use your talents. Use your talents. Romans chapter 6, verse 13, chapter 12, verse 6 through 13, it says, God has given each of you the ability to do certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out when you have faith that God is speaking through you. If your gift is that of serving others, serve them well. If you are a teacher, do a good job of teaching. If your gift is encouraging others, do it. If you have mercy, share in generosity. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility serious. If you have a gift of showing kindness to others, do it gladly. Don't just pretend that you love others, really love them. Hate what is wrong. Stand on the side of good. Verse 10, love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. Verse 11, never be lazy in your work, but serve the Lord enthusiastically. Be glad for all that God is planning for you. Be patient in trouble and always be prayerful. And when God's children are in need, be the one to help them out. And get into the habit of inviting guests home for dinner, or if they need lodging for the night. That is Romans chapter 12, verse 6 through 13. Use your talents. Determine. Give God what is God's. What has God called you to do? What gifts has God given you? How has He created you? What is the purpose behind Him creating you? Use those gifts, those talents, to glorify God. Give it to God. How do you give it to God? Well, let me explain something to you. When I was a high school, my first youth group I ever went at, I teamed up with Martin High School because it was in Arlington, and I had these 12 kids that played football together all the way through Pee Wee and then junior high, and then this kid stopped playing his sophomore year and started wrestling because he was better at wrestling, and the rest of the group stayed in football. Some of them shouldn't, but that's beyond the point. And he was like, my friends don't love me no more. They don't want to hang out with me. Pastor James, do you want to hang out? I'm like, sure, dude, let's hang out. So we hung out all the time. This kid literally drove to my house. I'd play flag football. This kid would come and be on my team. This kid would come to the gym with me and work out. I'd go to his wrestling practices, and I'd get an opportunity to talk to his friend while he's at wrestling practice. Then the coach was like, hey, you want to be our chaplain? I'd love to have you come and talk with the kids. I'm like, sure, all because of Taylor Clipper. And this dude right here was a beast at wrestling, but he had this shirt, and this coach asked me, he says, what do you think of this shirt? And the shirt had this really jacked, like muscle upon muscle, like never going to happen, but it's going to look really cool shirt. And this dude was like flexing and ripping his shirt off. And on his chest it said, your abilities are God's gift to you. How you invest them is your gift to God. I'll read that again. Your abilities are God's gift to you. How you invest them is your gift to God. I sent a video of two Muslims. Did you watch that video? Not yet. It was on Facebook. I just sent it yesterday. I don't know if you got it, but watch it. I sent him this video. It's these two NFL athletes that played Pee-wee football together. They're brothers. They played Pee-wee football together. They ended up playing junior high together. They ended up playing high school together. They ended up going and playing college, not at the same school, two different schools, but they ended up getting drafted. And they're both in the NFL. And they both took a sabbatical from the NFL. Now, let me explain something to you. Everyone that plays football, and if you've ever played a game of football, whether you're in the front yard with your dad, or you're playing football on the street, or you actually on a team in Pee-wee all the way up to professional, or all the way up to college, you have at one point had a dream or aspiration about being in the NFL. That's the ultimate goal. Like 5% of athletes that play football achieve it. And then if you're like Alonzo Ball, you realize in basketball, even though you're really good at this, when you get to the cream of the crop, you're really not as good as you really think you are. I think one day he'll be good, but here's the thing. When you go from high school, when you go from junior high school, it's fast, isn't it? It's a change of pace. Well, let me explain something to you. When you go from high school to college, it's even faster. And when you go, like if you're a running back, your lineman, that gap for you to get between them closes like that. You have no time. If you're not there at the right moment, you're hitting a 6'10" dude that weighs about 400 pounds, and you're hitting the back of him, and you're on the ground. In the NFL, it closes even faster. Everyone runs a 4.5 in the NFL. Even tight ends. Even like people that should be retired run 4.5s. Everybody benches 225 50,000 times. Everybody can squat 700 pounds. You're in the cream of the crop, the best of the best that's ever played the game in their prime at that time. Well, these two guys are in the NFL, and you know what they did? They took a leave of absence for a season. They took a leave of absence. They still have their contract, and you know what they did? They went on a nationwide tour of Muslim mosques. You know why they did that? Because they wanted to share their faith. You see, here's the thing. I'm not judging them. I'm just simply saying, I know that I believe this to be true, and if this is true, then their religion can't be true. So if their religion can't be true, then they have false hopes, and if they have false hopes, they're leading other people into false hopes. What would happen if we use our gifts and talents, whether you're an artist, whether you're a ballerina, whether you're a volleyball player, whether you're a basketball player, whether you're on the debate team, whether you're really good at whatever it is you're good at. Maybe you're that person that can stack cups in like 2.5 seconds, like 12,000 times, and that's your platform. Everybody has a platform. Everybody is a star at something in their own mind. Whatever your gift is, what if you use that to glorify God instead of glorifying yourself? Now, I use these two brothers because it intrigued me, because apparently no one else has ever done this in the NFL, yet the Muslim belief is getting publicity for it. They're using their skills and abilities and platform to lead people to Allah. And at the end of the day, Allah will take them nowhere. Because I believe this. All roads don't lead to heaven. We don't coexist. Now listen, if you're going to use your talents, I would advise you to use your talents to glorify God. Don't be like that construction worker who used God's gifts and couldn't glorify God anymore because it became too much. You see, we're called to give our gift to God. The next thing we're called to do is give your best in everything that you do. You know why Tommy was called out as a leader? It wasn't just because he's scoring big, 97s and 96s in his classes. It's because outside of the tests, he's standing the test of time as a leader, because the dean put something on the table and wondered who was going to pick it up and throw it away. And Tommy asked, "Who is this?" Nobody said anything, so he threw it away. You see, something I teach my leaders is you treat hype the way you want it to be, or it'll never be that way. How many of you got that text yesterday? You treat it the way you want it to be, or it'll never be that way. I tell my leaders, if you see trash on the ground, like this entire sermon, that has been bugging me. Some of you are like, what are you looking at? There's a water bottle on the ground that's actually been on my nerves the entire time I've been up here. Thank you, Isaac. But your family. Why don't you pick that pen up too? That's really annoying me as well. But here's the thing. I teach my leaders, if you see it, fix it. How hard is that? Do you know that mentality, if you see it, fix it, has got me where I'm at in my career? Let me explain something to you. When the people I meet with see that I'm willing to perfect the little things, they know that I can perfect the big things. Now, you may say, well, what do you do? Well, if you ever heard of Jerry Jones, I sat in his office and designed their lockers. You ever heard of Nick Saban? I sat in his office and designed the lockers that are Alabama. You keep going. Stoops, I sat in his brand new office and with his team designed his lockers, and before he resigned, I knew. Keep him coming. No. Todd Graham from Arizona State hopped on a private jet, flew to my office to meet with me so I can show him an idea and a design, and walked out and said, that's what I want. I'll make sure I get it. Bob Stoops. We're not talking about the people I met with. Tom Herman, Jerry, DCU, Coach Patterson, Dabo. Oh, sweetie. Dabo's a trip, I'll tell you that. I met his son and his nephew. Anyways, those are all teams that I've done lockers with. Who am I to be selling these people lockers? I'm not even an ex-college athlete. I tore my shoulder and my elbow and my ACL. I'm a washed up nobody. But I don't believe that. I got into the business on accident, and I took my gifts and talents to say, you can tell me no, you can close the door, but I know you need it, so I'm going to keep knocking. I have people, I don't have my cards on me. I have people that have told me, I have your business card sitting on my desk. It's been there for 3 years. When you see my business card, you'll know why. It's nothing flashy. It's just a stainless steel business card. But we make lockers out of stainless steel. Why do I share that? Because I had the idea sitting there wondering, how can I get the attention of these people that are going to spend the money? Well, everybody has a business card. You got my card? Here, bring that up here. Everybody has a business card in my industry. Why can't we be different? Well, we make lockers that are different, so why not be different? Here's my card. It's pure stainless. This is what I give people. They love it so much, they say, if I buy lockers, will you give me 50 of these? Sure, no problem. Where do you sign? But this right here, you know how it started? I got bored one day at work and said, I'm sick of giving out paper business cards. I went into the metal shop. I have no idea how to run a press brake. I have no idea how to run a shear. I have no idea how to pass that around, whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's Sam's. I'll give you another one, Sam. Here's the thing. I have no idea how to run these machines, but I'm willing to learn. So what do? I went to the scrap pile. Listen, I went to the scrap pile where we're going to throw this and we're going to take it to the scrap hall where they're going to melt it down, okay? And I said, I wonder what would happen if I make this the size of a business card. And I went over there, and my boss said, don't put your finger in there, you'll chop it off. I said, okay, dokie, note to self, don't put my finger in there. So I put the stainless in there, and I pushed the button, it goes, kadoosh. That was cool. Took that piece, went back around the shear that was like built in 1910, I grabbed it, and I said, shadoosh. All of a sudden, I went back around and chopped it around, and shadoosh, and I said, let's laser it and see what happens. So then I went to a show. You see, that's got rounded corners. When I started, they had square corners. They were like literal ninja stars. But what started it was I saw something and said, well, what if? What's the likelihood? Do you know that in my years of ministry, I've tried to have a zebra come to my service so I can use a sermon illustration? I almost had an elephant one time, and I missed out because the doorway wasn't wide enough to handle the daggum elephant. I'm that guy that's going to try to get a daggum lion in a place to preach a message. I've had biker gangs come to youth services, like straight up biker gangs, tattoos, cigarettes, with a beer in their hand, sitting in my youth service. I'm that guy. But I didn't become that guy because I think I possibly, maybe, like, there's a slight chance. No, it's like, why not? How did that get developed? How did that come around? I developed my gift. I have the gift of persuasion. It's not really a spiritual gift. But I am determined when I get my head wrapped around something. You see, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. How many of you guys have ever heard of Phil Knight? Nike. You know who put Nike on the map? Steve Prefontaine. Steve Prefontaine was a runner in the 70s, 60s. And he was breaking world records. And you know how he broke world records? He was willing to listen to a guy named Phil Knight who designed a Nike shoe on a waffle iron and said, this will make your shoe lighter. Let's try it. And he tried it. Now listen, Steve Prefontaine, if he hadn't died out of a car accident, would have broke world record after world record. Imagine who's the fastest man right now. Usain Bolt. Imagine if he would have been the first one to wear a pair of Nikes. Everybody would want them. That was Steve Prefontaine. You know what he said? He said, to give anything less than my best is to sacrifice my gift. So I'm challenging you tonight. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift that God has given you. So give your best. Last two things. Give it to others like you. And give it on a team. Simple as that, right? Give it to God, give your best, give it to others like you, and give it on a team. What are some ways that you can get involved here at Hype? How many of you want to be involved in something more than just coming here and sitting down in a chair? Anybody want to get involved with more? I don't care how old you are. Put your hand up if that's you. Okay, listen. Here's how you can get involved. I need greeters. We need hospitality people. We need worship leaders. We need people to play instruments, drums, bass, guitar, piano. I need someone who, if you want to be a missionary like Jake, we'd love to send you out in a mission field. If you like to dance, I'd love to have people dancing. I'd love to start Hype with crazy lights and you and your dance crew up here dancing as the people as they walk in. How cool would that be? I need people to help me set up and tear down. I need people who have exhortation gift abilities. Basically, I need someone who's going to be bubbly. I need someone who's not afraid to say hi to people, because people know if they're going to ever come back not by the size of your building, not by how clean it is or how cool it looks, but by how friendly the people are. Hey, I got a vinyl cutter in here. If you have the ability or want to learn the ability and you're willing to do the work, I've got a vinyl cutter where you can actually make stickers. They're free. I give them away. I've got probably 100 Hype stickers in there. Alexis Casey's going to weed out, and we're going to have them for you in the next couple of weeks for you to have free Hype stickers. There's some other ways you can serve. You can serve by having the gift of service. Be here to help serve. Evangelism. How many of y'all want to go to your schools and evangelize? How about ushers? You know what I need? I need people to help me teach. I need leaders to step up and help me teach. I have t-shirt presses in there. You can actually make t-shirts like these with vinyl prints and make your own t-shirt. If you have the dream, I'll fund it. I've got the stuff in there. I need people that want to learn how to do graphics. I've got a brand new Mac in there that's got Illustrator and Photoshop. I'll teach you design. That's something you can use as a career in the future. You put it all together and you can have your own office in there making your own business. We need misfit leaders. We need people to run the snack shack. I would love to have a DJ every Wednesday when people walk up. I need people to sit there and play video games with students who are sitting here on their own. I need someone to help me with administration stuff. I need someone to help me run Hype games. I'd love to have a Hype game coordinator. You know what? I need people to help me with videos. Where's Aaron at? Aaron, leave? That bum. You see what I'm saying? I need someone to help me make videos. Who wants to help make videos? I've got the equipment. Okay, you see this? I've got the equipment. I've got video cameras in that computer in there. I've got Final Cut Pro, and I've got Final Cut Pro and Premiere. If you go to Hollywood, those are the two softwares they use to make Hollywood videos. I got the computer and the software. I need someone to help me with, I need someone to help me with discipline. I need someone to be security. If you got your arm around your girl, that's PDA. No PDA. I need someone to help me with prayer. I love to have prayer in here at 5 o'clock for people to come and pray. You'll do security. Oh, Lord. I've got a list of things that you can get involved in, but listen, I want you to understand something. This is a student ministry. It's not getting done because I'm not going to do it. It'll get done when you treat it the way you want it to be, or it'll never be that way. You know what? Let me cast my vision. You ready for this? Let me take 2 minutes to cast my vision. I would love for you to invite your friends and get them plugged in here using their gifts to do awesome things to glorify God. You ready for this? I'd love to have a banner that goes from that corner to that corner, and that corner to the doorway, and that doorway to that corner, and that corner to here, and it basically changed the whole dynamic of the room. I'd love to have, see these lights right here that change colors? I'd love to have strobe lights that are stacked like 7 high on this one, 6 high on that one, to where when you walk in, it's like a daggum Katy Perry concert. Oh my goodness, Katy Perry. Listen, I've invested, we don't know how much money we've invested in lights and movers and strobes and all these different things with lasers. I want this to be a place where you and your friends want to be here. this is not about me trying to live my glory days through you as a youth pastor. Believe me, if this wasn't my calling, this is a high-stress position for me. Like, I know I can do so much better if I was full-time at this. But I'm not called to be full-time anymore. I have great leaders that have picked up. Those cars are going to be painted. Miss April and Pastor Sam are going to make sure those cars get painted by students, and that's awesome. The backboard, the basketball court. I came out here and painted that myself. Pastor Sam helped me. That was one of our first things we did together. We literally went out there and we poured acid on the concrete, and we're like, don't get it on you, it's going to burn you. And we're like pouring acid on this concrete so we can paint it. Oh yeah, you didn't know that. I didn't tell him it was acid, but he kind of smelled it. Listen, we do crazy things. We got on scaffolding and painted the backboard. We made sure that we put banners around the volleyball court. Where I'm getting at this is, I want to make this place an awesome safe haven for you and your friends to come and hang out, do homework. That's why we have ping pong and video games and cafe and volleyball and basketball and the music outside, because this is yours. Let's build a team that's going to glorify God, that'll stay together outside of high school. How many of you guys would love to have a lifelong friend? Awesome. How many of you guys, listen, let me explain something to you. When you graduate and you go to college, friends dissipate because you're not there together anymore. And that constant time together is a reminder. But you know what happens after you graduate and you all move back after there? Some will stay wherever they go to college, others will move back. What happens is when they move back, the people that didn't go off to college have already moved on with their life. So when they get together, either they're really friends or they're not, and they don't hang out anymore. This could be a place where real friendships are made. This can be a place where your future friends start at. So when you see these chairs, I want you to think and envision your friend that needs God just as much as you do. Can we do that? Let's pray. Lord, we love you and we praise you. God, I know that we're all looking for godly friends in our life. But Lord, I also know that we have friends that need you, and we can be that light and that example. God, I ask that you would go before this student ministry. You would go before these young preachers, these young evangelists, these young men and women that are called to do your great and mighty works. God, I pray that you would begin to do great and mighty works in their hearts and in their minds, Lord. Give them boldness. Give them courage, God, to step up and invite. Give them determination to get their one here, God. Lord, I pray that you would work through them to change the atmosphere here, to change the atmosphere and the temperature of Grand Prairie to become more like you. Lord, I pray that we would choose to be in your image. We would choose to be in your likeness. Lord, we would choose to behave and think and do as you would do. Lord, I ask that this would not be a message that goes in one ear and out the other, but Lord, this would bring a message that brings change. Lord, we ask this in your name. Everybody says? Amen. Next week, we'll continue our series on friends. Be here Sunday, 9 for first service, 10:30 for Sunday school, 11:30 for second service.
You pick me up, now I'm set apart. From the ash I am born again, forever safe in the Savior's hands. You are more than my words could say. I follow you, Lord, for all my days. Fix my eyes, follow in your ways. Forever free and unending grace.
Hey, if you want a spiritual gift test, come see me. I'll have it Sunday for you. I need to know how many to make.